everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and there's a ban list. I don't really know what I'm walking into here. Certainly I wasn't expecting a ban list. Yu-Gi-Oh's in a weird position right now. YCS season just ended, so we've got like 2 months with no events whatsoever, no products being released outside of the Dark World structure deck, which Konami still has yet to send to me, and I might be in the minority here, but I even think the metagame's fine. Yes, there is a clear best deck in Ishizu Tearlament, but there are other options at the local, regional, and even YCS level, and to be honest, the Ishizu Tearlament mirror is so fun and engaging that I'm willing to overlook some problems with it. So I really have no idea what's going on. I saw a Farfa notification, I saw a Curry Bandits tweet, but I didn't see anything about the contents of the list. What I'd like to see, as always, is shaving some of the frustrating power one-ofs out of the format, things like instant fusion that make Tearlament occasionally open unbeatable, and maybe some of the floodgates that make decks like Fluanderies tick. It will be a small price to pay for never getting Barrier Statue locked again. So let's click that list. And this is the old one. Is it on Reddit or something? No, that's the October one. All right, I had to find it on Twitter. Apparently, it's not on their site yet. Oh my god! And beautiful right out of the starting gate. These are the 2 cards that I wanted to see banned more than anything else a month and a half ago. Mystic Mine is in a weird position. While it is an incredibly frustrating card, it's not necessarily a good one. It has one of the lowest post-sideboard win rates of any sideboarded card, somewhere around 43, which is about 20 points lower than you want a singleton out of the sideboard to end up. That said, it's so unfortunate and warps the metagame in such a frustrating way, I'm happy to see it gone. Curious, I wanted to see banned last format because of its interactions with Nightmare Griffin. The ability to add functionally any card from your deck to your hand was a little too broken, but no one's been doing that since the release of the Ishizu cards. Still happy to see this ticking time bomb gone. Let's go to limited. Thank the Lord. Okay, so this is the most frustrating part of Ishizu Tearlament by far. The fact that you can open Herald of the Orange Light to potentially prevent your opponent from resolving a card like Dimension Shifter, which would otherwise provide some sort of counterplay to Ishizu Tearlament, was very frustrating. If you're concerned about other decks that were playing Herald of Orange Light, don't be. I think the only other one is Drytron, which would search it at the end of a combo and only play a single copy regardless. This is a happy medium in terms of, okay, there are decks that do want to search this as part of an end board, and please do not open this against my counter card. Oh. Yeah, why not? Okay, actually, this is a very strange unhit. The more I look at it, the less it makes sense. So if you're unfamiliar, Lyrilisc Recital Starling was hit on the ban list to bring Lyrilisc Tri-Brigade more in line with some of the other top decks, and it did a very good job of killing the deck entirely. It turns out that this card is mission critical. That said, the most important part of this card was that you would make 2 of them, then overlay for UFD, and you can do that if there's 2 legal. So why not bump it to 3? I mean, I don't even think people would play 3. They only really want to fire it twice and then make UFD. But regardless, very funny. Could have come off at any point in the last, like, 8 or 9 months. Okay, great. These are... Whoa! Actually not great at all. Wow. Not remotely great. Okay, whoa, not a problem. Whoa, oh god. Okay, so let's get the easy ones out of the way first. Tellarknight Ptolemaeus, completely fine to put to 3 at any point over the last 4 years. Fire Formation Tanky, very weird that they put this to 1, and then 2, and then 3, as they realized that actually Tri-Brigade, while it is a hyper-consistent deck, doesn't really have the ceiling necessary to compete with something like, oh, I don't know, every deck released in the past year and a half. The other ones I don't know about. Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos are kind of Tearlament hits. They're both at 3 in the OCG, and while we've tested them extensively in the Masochist Banlist tournament and they didn't cause any problems, they're not particularly fun to play against. While I think that they're not going to be necessarily that playable, and I think that they're not going to prevent Tearlament from continuing to dominate the metagame, I don't know if I'm just getting soft in my old age, but do you want to enable this sort of playstyle? Like, is sitting on a bunch of continuous back row in order to prevent your opponent from accessing major parts of their engine a sort of gameplay that you want to be available in Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, I mean, I guess this makes Tearlament players main Harpy's Feather Duster, but... And finally, Metaverse at 3 is actually really interesting. So obviously it's a lot less powerful without Mystic Mine in the format. The ability to activate Metaverse at any stage of the game and immediately turn off all your opponent's effects is broken. but it's still pretty good even without Mystic Mine available. Potentially your opponent goes for a silly Tearlament combo, you chain Metaverse, and then activate Necro Valley. Metaverse is a normal trap, which means you can get it off of Trap Trick, which means you can board into the 2/2/2 board with Pointer of the Red Lotus that was so popular a couple of formats ago. Of course, you would have to find a different card to play over a Pointer of the Red Lotus, but something like Trap Trick, Dimensional Barrier, and Metaverse might be really good, especially against decks that are clearly trying to fusion summon. Additionally, Metaverse is a huge consistency tool for slower decks that are looking to find their field spell at all costs. Weathery, Guru, ABC, all these decks are massively, massively improved by moving Metaverse to 3, but not to such a degree that they'll actually be good. Yeah, so I guess I would say in conclusion, for the first time in a long time, I am very happy with this ban list. I was actually kind of shocked that we got one so soon after the release of Magnificent Mavens. If we only got to experience Ishizu Tear for a couple of weeks, that would have been very frustrating to me. Not only because I invested in it, but also because it's such an interesting and engaging mirror. And I feel like we would be missing out on it if we weren't able to explore it a little further. I am happy that they got rid of not only the ticking time bomb that is Curious the Lightsworn Dominion, but also Mystic Mine. Like, clearly just a list designed to give the players what they want. And again, I don't think too much major action needs to be taken in regards to curating the format, just because I feel as if there's no real competitive REL events from now until February anyway. By the time they would want to bring these cards more in line, they'll have an opportunity to with a new list. The Herald of the Orange Light thing is so good. I'm so happy that that is not going to be determined in games. It feels so frustrating not only to play with, but also against. I mean, any tier player can tell you they hate playing this card, but they have to. And hopefully maybe some Sprite Tri-Brigade players can potentially integrate UDF into their combos now. This would be a really interesting direction to take the third best deck in. The only thing I'm really frustrated with is Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos, but realistically, I think these cards are fine. They do offer some counterplay to Tearlament, so it is what it is. A lot of Floodgates did escape the ban list here. Scythe is not particularly good without Hulk in the format. That said, I'm a little afraid that someone's going to figure out how to use it. I would like to have seen a barrier statue of the Stormwinds ban like they had in Master Duel. I think Fluanderies can adapt past that position, and I'd like to see them do so. But outside of that, very, very happy with this. Now give me the Dark World structure.